Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Blade of Darkness. Today we are playing the Dwarf's first level. First of all, here is the blurb of text and my narration. Basically, the dwarfs were happily mining away and then a rich copper vein started bleeding dwarf blood. And without anyone being missing or killed or anything, so they scratched their heads and sent this guy to this city with a supposed big library where he could find answers to the mystery. There we go. Notice how he is 153 years old. He looks kinda ripped for that age. Anyway, let's go.
Zalam is one of the most important and ancient cities of the dwarves. The wealth of its gold seams and diamond lodes was exhausted centuries ago, but those times of splendor are recalled in its well-preserved and extensive library, and its wise men are famed among the clans. In the underground passages of your home city, Yotun, strange signs and shadows have been observed. Bands of orcs menace the surrounding area with increasing boldness. So you've been sent by the elders to consult the Zalam scholars. Similar portents have occurred in the past. Perhaps answers are to be found among their ancient manuscripts.
So there's that. That was pre-recorded Antroid and intro, but now there's Hippocat in here as well.
Hey there everyone.
Yep. I decided to use his presence here to spice up these videos a little bit, because the remaining 3 starting levels are just this sort of extended introduction to the game, so they should go by a little faster. Anyway, our dwarf here, of course, predictably finds that his city has been massacred.
By the gods of hell, the city has fallen. So many dead. How can this be?
Well, but still the library should be standing somewhere, so we are going to go and find the library. And there is new enemies for us here. The goblin guys here. They're annoying, not very dangerous.
Is combat any different compared to the knight character?
Well, this probably is the most similar to the knight, because he also uses a shield and one-hand weapons such as axes and sometimes some hammers and stuff. But I don't know, maybe I didn't actually know that as a knight, but I found that as this guy, instead of just jumping, you can just kind of strafe, like normal walk strafe, and it helps a lot for dodging stuff. But I actually found that out while recording this very video, so you might notice, I'll point out if I remember the very moment where I actually thought of that. First of all, yeah, this guy and the barbarian are like the hardest, at least they were for me the hardest guys, and for this guy I couldn't even finish his first level for a long time. But then I guess I got slightly better at the game, so it's not as hard now. Although the next enemy type that shows up is probably one of the worst enemies in the game, and of course they tended to give me a lot of trouble all the time. And there's a lot of food in here.
So, are the events for different characters are like mutually exclusive? Like you determine the way the events are gonna happen by choosing the character, or is everything like happening simultaneously?
Well, when you play as one character you pretty much do everything, so there is not really anything left for the others to do, because they, apart from these first levels, they... whoop, there goes his head. They pretty much do the same stuff. They find the same artifacts and use them the same way, so... I guess it's supposed to be that you choose the champion of Yan here. Get that head. Actually damaged him a little bit. And then proceed to play out the events as them and the others. Well, you will actually see one of the others during the game, like as an NPC, sort of, kind of, but I won't spoil that. And I have no idea what that indicates. Like, they were trying to do the same things, but all completely failed because you got 2 places ahead of them or something. But as I said, that's for the future, in like 4, 5, 7 levels into this, so it's a bit too early for now. But this level actually I think is probably my favorite of the first levels, because I just kind of like the deep underground dwarf city motif here that they got going. There's a couple impressive spaces here, architecturally even, sort of. Even though this game is much simpler looking when you kind of look at it than Rune, for example. I'm not gonna cite the Crusaders here because Crusaders are just lazily made, but still.
So this is like supposedly a dwarven city where pretty much everybody has been murdered.
Yep.
But we've only seen like 5 corpses in the intro, and that's that.
Well,
So that's like was the whole population of the town.
Well, yeah, you know, they live apparently several centuries here, so what's the point in producing too much? But we'll see a couple more corpses and people. But yeah, maybe the front lines were somewhere else where the goblins here invaded. But yeah, you kind of got a point here. It's woohoo, level up. It's not very populated. Alright, there is a little optional place here that we can visit later. And it's of course falling apart because, I mean, if you kill the dwarves, of course their city is going to fall and crumble. It makes sense. And there are some more dwarves here trying to fight, failing miserably. Kinda stupid that the music starts playing because we cannot even go and join there, so we just kinda leave unless we wanna look.
And yeah, the music is kinda too actiony for what is going on the screen.
Yep, and we could just stand there and watch, I guess, maybe see some of them getting killed or something, but I didn't want to waste time. And that there, the guy in the background is the most piece of shit enemy in the game. They usually do a lot of damage and have poison swords and shit, although even the goblins get poison swords later. But these are just the most dangerous for me of the regular enemy types.
So why did you aggro him before you finished off that first
Well,
goblin?
he would get aggroed anyway, but I was secretly hoping to get some infighting here, but then I failed because the orc there, which I assume that's an orc and these are goblins, he just didn't even bother. And I think here is where I started just kinda walking out of the way instead of jumping, because this guy doesn't really jump very well. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And yeah, when you actually master evading like that, which isn't actually hard, I don't know, I just couldn't grasp this concept as a kid, I guess. Well, not really kid, because I was playing this game in like school, in the later, I think, classes, but whatever. That was a bit beyond me. So right now it's not as hard, but of course you will later get slightly more dangerous enemy setups and geometry around you, of course. Sometimes it's going to be tight, sometimes there's going to be like pitfalls and shit. Of course multiple enemies, and so yeah, it's going to get tougher. But I heard that this guy's weapons by the end of the game deal like obscene damage, even though pretty much everyone's weapons deal obscene damage by the end of the game. As I completed this game only twice, as the Amazon and the Barbarian, and both of them just kinda kill everyone in a couple hits by the end. But yeah, here I got that store key, so let's backtrack a little bit to that store. Everyone in here is already dead. Thankfully the music doesn't start up again or anything. Woohoo! Thankfully everyone jumps kind of the same way, so because it would have been a pain to learn jumping and platforming for the 4 different characters. You'd think that like the Amazon would jump farther or something. By the way, spiders. Also, really cool, everyone in this game as their basic attack has this downward swing, so you don't really have, in the fashion of both Rune and Dark Souls, to have specific weapons just to be able to hit small dudes, which I appreciate a lot. Because otherwise this... whoa, there's some fountain of blood there. Otherwise these spiders would have been a problem, perhaps, like those pigs in Dark Souls 2, which I couldn't hit even. And that's great. Okay.
So do dwarves just have poisonous huge spiders in their cities, or what?
Maybe the store hasn't been opened in a while and they just kinda infested, because there's a lot of these little ventilation looking places along the walls where they could have come from. Also Spike Club. I don't think we have enough stamina to even swing it once yet. So it's going in our storage for now. I don't even remember, do we? Well, we'll see in this video. I don't remember if I take it out even once. Maybe it's for the future levels. The weapons, like, the weapon system in this game is kinda screwed up. As I mentioned last time, you often find better weapons way before the previous ones can get you any combos, because you're leveling up slower than you're finding new weapons. And sometimes it's like this, where you find a weapon, you can't even swing it, and by the time you can, you don't really want to anymore, because maybe there is even an even better one somewhere. Kinda strange, but I guess it just forces you to make choices you wouldn't expect to make in such games.
Well, I guess it's kinda similar in Dark Souls, like you can find some huge weapons pretty early in the game and you won't have stats to use them properly.
Yep, but Dark Souls is a slightly more, well, very much more non-linear and more RPG game than this one. Also, I think this guy, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, this guy will just almost murder me here. If I remember correctly, this was pretty... I don't know, maybe I was being stupid or something, but I remember this fight being nearly my end, even though I came in it with a full health bar. I was just not having a lot of fortune here, because, yeah, I didn't watch my stamina a lot, I was hitting his shield a lot. Some characters, like the Amazon, can roll away even after she hits someone's shield and still not get counterattacked. This guy and the knight, they have no such luck. They will get sliced if you hit someone's shield. Well, most of the time. So yeah, this was kind of... If you watch my health, I'm nearing death very rapidly, and this was kind of scary.
And this is a regular enemy, right? It's
Yep.
not like it's a tougher version or
Nope.
anything.
He is level 2, of course. I neglected to mention last time, enemies also have levels. By the way, yeah! Also have levels near the top right corner of their portraits. And it just means more damage for them and much more health, usually with additional levels. Some other properties of enemies are just kind of presets, so it doesn't really make a huge difference, but it's a good indicator of how tough they are. Now, I don't remember if the first orc we saw was level 1, but this one was level 2, so he was maybe more dangerous than the first one. You can find, like, usually enemies here, they kind of scale their levels like you, so you won't find level 15 enemy just hanging out, acting as a mini-boss. At least I don't remember such happenings. There are enemies that are just sort of mini-boss-like in nature, which are bigger. And I think, apart from some undead, by now you've seen most, because the goblins and orcs are just the biggest part of the enemy hordes in this game. You'll be seeing them everywhere and in huge numbers, and you will get fucking sick and tired of the stupid noises that they make, especially the orcs. Goblins, of course, do the all the time, but orcs, when they attack, especially, I think for me, because I was getting killed by them so much initially, so I was very sick and tired of their attack noises, the grunts that they made, because I was just like so irritated at them.
Are enemies too dumb to break objects in their way?
Sometimes. By the way, here is like that one part that I like very much about this level, this huge cavern. There you can see some sort of bridge and stuff. Really cool looking.
Can you get there?
Yes, of course. Well, not of course, but yes. I don't recall if there is really situations in this game where you see something cool and then don't get there, but usually it's like Rune in the level design philosophy that if they made some level area, they're probably going to exploit it for gameplay, so yes, you do get there. And of course you have to jump across. Which my first time through this level was much more dangerous, because for some reason the enemies on the other side like all congregated near the gap, and I had a bit of trouble fighting there, but in all subsequent attempts, including this one, they were much farther away. And I didn't have nearly as much trouble. Also, it's high time we found a better weapon. I think sometime before we reach that bridge we'll get a better weapon, actually. Don't really remember this level too well, despite playing it a couple times by now, but well, that's what happens when you then record 2 more levels so that you have all of them ready. Woo! One thing I don't really enjoy about physics and stuff in this game is just your characters kind of like ping pong balls or something. They can bounce off some angle. Oh yeah, biting axe. Bounce off some angle, steps and just get sent flying away. And if you run downstairs, you will not just run downstairs, you will just run slightly forward, then fall a bit, and then run more forward and fall again, and it's just annoying as hell. But
well, that's kind of a common thing for old games, isn't it?
yeah, I guess kind of. Then this game just seems to have low gravity in general. I think it would have been fixed if it got better gravity. But by the way, we just passed the place where the 2 dwarves are fighting 2 goblins, and of course all of them are dead. I think we are nearing that bridge. And this biting axe, prepare to see how much better it is. Whoop! 1 hit. Off goes his arm. It does say POW 23 in the corner there, but sometimes it does more. I think when you do that move where you dodge and then attack, it's a separate move that for some reason does more damage. There's the bridge. Whoop! This guy is cool because he cannot withstand more than 1 of our attacks, but he has a full life potion for some reason. As if that was going to help him ever at all. Also, I think that's a quiver there in the corner, which I completely missed, if I remember correctly, but oh well. You do need a bow in this game, and sometimes it's completely required even. And you can run out of arrows and then you'll be shit out of luck, but usually there's plenty of archers that you can burgle for bows. Maybe that's just a bloodstain actually, maybe that's not a quiver on the wall there. I probably would not have missed a quiver. But yeah, these guys now, this guy is level 2 too, but notice how much faster he dies. And now I'm level 4. I have 420 health, which is cool. Man, Vegas is lagging here. Oh well. That's not going to be visible on the videos, of course. And there we...
So I see this game still has problems with like mapping bloodstains on some surfaces.
Well,
so they get stretched ridiculously.
Actually they just kind of dribble down, like flow down from the places where it gets splashed, so it's actually cooler than a bug. I could probably at some point just stand and look at one of them. I think they, like, the blood does kind of drip down walls and shit, so it's that's not a bug, that's like a feature actually. By the way, these guys are complete punching bags. There's not too many of them in the game, but they're slow as hell and just stupid. There, I allowed him to hit me once. Yeah. There he goes. I don't know what he even supposed to be. Troll maybe? Let's eat some meat. For 20 again. They didn't even play music for this guy, which is like telling, very telling. They probably did not consider him a mini boss in any way. Most of this level is done. I don't think there is anything dangerous left, apart from one little trap, which is like at the very end of the level. And I wonder how you're going to feel about it, because it feels like every time you pass it, there's just, you should not have been able to do that. Because this game likes stuff like that. I don't remember, there probably weren't any traps in... Well, no, there were traps actually, what I'm talking about, I'm full of shit. There were a lot of traps by the end of the Knight's level as well, like that crushing floor and some saws, I think, even arrow traps. But this game loves that sort of thing. So, gonna be seeing much more of that. And I should probably memorize them every time I record, because they can catch you off guard. Alright, here's like a puzzle almost, kind of, sort of, but if you've played a fantasy game, of course you look around the throne.
Yeah, that's like the first, most obvious place to look at.
Yep, kinda like bookshelves or maybe behind the waterfalls, but I don't think this game has anything behind the waterfalls. Here's the trap.
Or under the stairs.
Yep, under the stairs. That's for pretty much every game, not just fantasy. Yes, probably waterfalls as well. But how do you like this trap?
I'm not sure. It didn't seem very I don't know. Oh, so it is like activated multiple times. I just thought you activated it once and that was that.
Nope. It keeps going and going and going, and you will have to dodge those souls at least once.
Are those insta-kill?
Yep, of course. Why wouldn't they be insta-kill in this game? You just get hit by any environmental thing and you die. And get your body parts chopped off. Also check out this camera of movement. Woo, cutscenes. Also.
Holy shit.
Well, this game is like written in Python or something, so you can actually go and edit pretty much every aspect of this game. I've been told in the comments that people have modded this game into an RTS even, because every aspect of the gameplay you can change almost, and just the engine is more hardcore than that. And as I remember when I was playing this game, my first times I used some sort of file edit guides to make blood like 1,000 times more plentiful. Maybe I'll show that if I remember where to look for that at some point in the game, because there was I think one of the things this game was praised back in the day was the particle system for some reason. Because
Well, I'm not seeing anything super spectacular so far.
Well, there is some cool particle, by the way, in other clips, like in the night level, a good wood shield. There will be some effects here and there in the game, but I think at this point in history they were just not. Maybe there's more particles in the effects in this game than usual or something. Because I kind of do remember when I was playing this game back in the day, I was impressed mostly by the enemy models for some reason, the later enemies, the cooler ones. Just I thought they looked cool, I don't know. And the particles, but that was probably because I read that the particles were supposed to be awesome. Anyway, there's the library secret compartment here, and we are about to go and find a very informative book here. Check out what it says. It's gonna go to the table to read it.
Well, it's probably gonna be tough to read with like all the blood in his eyes.
Yeah, he was probably closing his eyes when blood was splattering.
The evil that settled on earth was destroyed, but its seed remains hidden and shall one day return.
Well, doesn't that just tell you everything you need to know?
And that's that.
That's that. Now,
Holy shit.
yeah, there's going to be some sort of text narration on the map, of course, which tells a bit more, because of course there's a bit more.
Attacked, and its inhabitants are gone. Corpses of a group of valiant defenders are scattered throughout its passages. In one room of the library, you found a book which speaks of mysterious runes of power. It suggests that assistance could come from the world of men. Now that Kazel's alarm has fallen, all the cities of the dwarves will be on their guard. Their gates will be barred. Woe betide those like you who remain on the outside. The dwarves will not emerge until the situation has been resolved. The only solution is to solve the whole mystery and return home as soon as possible.
So if you want to get home, just do everything by yourself. Also, the Vegas is glitching out here. But yeah, we can go to another dwarven settlement, the mine, or to the Tel Halaf city, and the dwarf will be going to the mine, of course.